dorsal spinous process of this vertebrae here, pretty prominent. Oh, I know. Sorry, Bubba. The biggest finding was really in this right SI joint. I'm still going through his thoracolumbar spine right now, but so veterinary chiropractic is pretty not as exciting as human chiropractic because you don't get, not very frequently, the pops, which are called audibles. You don't really get those very often in veterinary chiropractic. It is gratifying when we do get them, but you know, they don't really understand why humans produce so many audibles and horses and dogs and don't. So sometimes if you come into an appointment with that expectation, you're going to be pretty underwhelmed. For these guys, it's a lot more about just the feel, the difference in feel. And he's so tiny, like I mentioned, it's a little bit more like, almost like I'm adjusting a dog, to be perfectly honest, but the angles are different than in a dog. We're just working on his last few ribs, which is a pretty common thing to bother horses a little bit, but he seems like he doesn't care much at all about them. I'm going to come up to his head, we're going to put it on his neck. Doing really good. I thought he was going to be real fussy for these little guys can be pretty opinionated.
Both of these guys, I mainly picked them because of their temperaments.
Yeah, they're pretty easy going.
The owner's going to be a first-time donkey owner, so I wanted to get some well-behaved boys for her.
Yeah. This would be, do this like a dog, because I can't quite adjust this like that. I don't know. I'll try this. I'll try it the way I normally do a horse, but he's just big enough I can't quite do it with my hands the way I normally do a dog, but so this is, we're working on the first vertebrae in the neck, C1, which is the atlas.
Nader, you're doing really good.
More normal. That left side was what bothered him. Crunch there. Now we go back. This looks similar, but now I'm actually on the second vertebrae, C2 here. mid cervical, C3, 4, and 5. And the adjustments, the technique is, takes a while to get good at. There was a good little pop from his neck. But you know, I guess one of the most common things I get asked is about how do you have the strength to adjust a horse. Obviously this isn't a horse, but it's really not about strength, it's about being very quick. That's what's really important with the adjustment. So it should be a really high velocity but very low amplitude when you're seeing somebody adjust. So you apply a lot of force, like over, it's just, you're only moving it just a little bit there. If you see somebody that's really like wailing away on the horse, that's not really good technique. Should just be a little bit, but it has to be very fast, and sometimes the quickness of it is a little startling for some horses. They don't like it since quick actions are a little bit predatory, but most of them tolerate it quite well. Do the same thing on this side, being a good boy. Small, bud. I'm going to go down to the lower vertebrae, cervical vertebrae, C6 and 7. Neck. Good boy. Back over to the other side. Bend around each way. I don't know if he's going to be. Good boy, good boy. I'm just seeing how he bends around now. Good boy.
Maybe work on some neck bends.
Yeah.
I'll hang little mini hay nets on their backs.
It's always good for them to stretch around. Yeah, there's the right shoulder. So that's a good example of an audible. They don't get them very much, but it feels good when you do get them. Oh, I know. All right, sassy pants. Spin around, we'll do your other shoulder. You're being a really good boy. See, the back legs will be interesting on the tiny little guys. I do get a lot of, like, probably some of the most common requests I get, or when people contact me, is they think their hip is out or their stifle. And while the SI is a pretty common problem area, I very rarely see, and other veterinary chiropractors, I've heard that same thing. They actually very rarely find chiropractic problems in the hind limb, be it the actual hip joint itself, which is here, or the stifle, which is the knee joint.